This is WFO Radio.
WFO Radio. We are back once again. What a day it has been. What a week it has been between Reading and Charlotte and the season heating up after the U.S. Nationals. It's countdown time, baby. And we got so much great stuff going on. If you've been hanging with us for the past couple of days, we had Alan Reinhart, we had Billy Torrance, we had Steve Johnson, we had Greg Anderson, and we are about to have Tommy Johnson Jr., who might have been the best story of the entire weekend. Checking out these guys up on the stage, really amazing. If you did not hear Greg Anderson a little bit earlier, Greg was incredible. Just a lot of great stories and storylines, talking about his drive to win 97 pro stock races. Amazing stuff. Steve Johnson was out of control. It was awesome. Great interviews, but I think we're going to end off with a bang here. And Tommy Johnson Jr. Before we get to Tommy, I do want to tell you about the sponsors, and I'll tick through them because they've gotten a lot of love this week, right? It's been a lot about repetition in our WFO Radio sponsors like Total Seal Piston Rings, and I've been telling everybody about 1 o'clock on Friday at Charlotte, the Total Seal Tech Talk out at Matt Hartford's pit. If you got a ticket to the race, you can come out and learn about Ring Seal. Simple as that. Go to TotalSeal.com. You can subscribe to Hidden Horsepower, the podcast that we produce, and learn all about the importance of Ring Seal, especially for those naturally aspirated engines, but really anything. If you're making power, Total Seal can help you out. Marvin Rodak, the Rodak's Coffee and Grills.com, hot sauces and spice rubs, tools, tips, information about grilling. Give them a call, 817-924-6821. If you've never tried the Rodak's Coffee, you should really do it. It's great stuff. Samtech.edu, the School of Automotive Machinists and Technology. We say it. What do we say? Start your education at full speed. Exactly. Blockhead, CNC programs, motorsport, EFI tuning. Just seeing if you've been watching a lot. If you've been watching a lot, you start to know these guys. And one of these days, you're going to need something like you're going to decide to go on the dragster adventure at frankhawley.com. And you're going to know, I want to drive a dragster. You're going to call Frank Hawley right away. It's going to be like, man, I heard about it on WFO. This guy's been burning me up for years, and I'm finally going to do it. $399. It would be a bargain at twice the price to show up with nothing and walk away having had a great experience. Plus our great friends at Nitro Fish and the WFO store, plus our Patreons. But let's bring on the man of the hour, maybe the weekend. What a win. Such a great job. Mr. Friend of Show, by the way, Mr. Tommy Johnson Jr. Tommy, welcome back. Congratulations.
Thanks, Joe. Good to be here with you.
Wow. You know, I was just thinking about as the race in the day played on, like what a big deal it would be if you could go a couple of rounds for Hagan, if you could to win the race. Like that's a Cinderella story. We all saw the press release. We heard about it earlier today. Hagan is going to be back for this weekend. He's been cleared. And so if he can go on and win the championship, you'll forever be a part of it. Like you saved the day for this team. They had a lot to do with it too, Dickie and the guys, but wow.
Yeah, it's going to be it's an interesting story for sure, and especially, you know, the world we live in right now. It's so crazy with all this going on, and it's changed so many things, and not just in daily life, but now also in the sport, and it's amazing just to be a part of it. You know,
absolutely, just to be a part of it. This guy's getting phone calls over there now.
Yeah, I'm at my mom's house, so this is I'm out of sorts here. I don't know what's going on. You know.
That's all right. Just you don't have to answer her phone. We'll hear the ring every.
I did. I answered it and hung up. Probably a telemarketer anyway.
Probably a telemarketer, right? To try to sell you the extended insurance program for your car's insurance.
Yeah, my warranty's expiring. I'm sure.
I would do away with those, by the way. I would robocalls. Like I know everybody loves that it's business, but does anyone really say, you know, I'm going to buy the warranty? And the answer is yes, because otherwise they wouldn't be calling. We've got so many people out there checking in. Blake in Wyoming, everybody saying, what's up? Hi, Joe. I saw TJ win a Top Fuel in Memphis when he drove for Mopar. Just caught up with the shows earlier today. Back again. Dang, I'm not getting much done today. Everybody's saying, what's up? TJ says Jim Essex out there. Hello, Joe and Tommy. Everybody's saying what's up. Congratulations to Tommy and the team. So, Tommy, I want to go back to the U.S. Nationals, though. Like, that's, you know, the racing gods, right? They take it away, and then they give it. It's just so weird, the peaks and the valleys of this sport. You're what? You're on your couch. You're hanging at the track. Like, where were you when you got the word that they needed you to drive, that you had to come in and be called to service?
Yeah, I was out the track walking around. I had some friends that they're IndyCar people, and I'd brought them to the drag races. Their first time of coming to a drag race to watch, and was showing them around the pits. My buddy Trip Tatum, it was his first Top Fuel race, so Trip and I share a shop. I run my business out of the front of the shop, and he runs his team out of the back. So I was out there helping Trip and doing whatever I can. I was putting stickers on his car and getting everything ready. I'm actually supposed to back him up Friday, and I was going to back him up last week at Indy, and I got a text from Alex Conway on the team and said, "Hey, are you at the track?" And I said, "Yeah, of course I'm out here at the track. I live 3 miles from the racetrack. Yeah, why wouldn't I be out here?" And about a minute later, I get a phone call, and it's Dickie Venables. And I thought, "What's going on? What's he want?" And to get that phone call, he says, "Hey, you're out here, right?" And I said, "Yeah." He says, "I need somebody to drive my car. Can you do that?" I'm like, "Sure." He goes, "Okay, we're going to run a little bit." I was kind of thinking, "Wow, we can probably do it tomorrow." And he says, "No, we're going to run a little bit." It was about 2 hours prior to that first qualifying session. So I said, "Let me jump in my truck, run home real quick and grab my stuff, and I'll be back." And 30 minutes later, I was back at the racetrack with my stuff. And 45 minutes after I got that phone call, I was sitting in the car warming it up. They had ran back to the shop, grabbed my seat out of the car I drove last year, and plugged it into Matt's. I jumped in. We warmed the car up, got in the car with my stuff on, adjusted everything. Went to the scales to see where we're at on weight, because there's a little bit of difference between Matt and myself. And we pulled right back around and right into the line at the back of the line. So I was like, wow, this happened quick. So I almost think it was better that way, not having any time to think about it. Just jumped in it, and we rolled around the corner. And what a heartbreaker. A push-pull pin that goes in the wheelie bar come apart on the burnout and fell out. And it was actually, the pin part was stuck to the tire up underneath the body. And they tried to figure out how to get it in there, but a little time on the starting line. It's very, very fast paced. You got to think quick, and there was just no way to make it happen. And just unfortunate, it was a heartbreaker. And then with the rain the next day, and it never worked out. But it was like, oh, that was cool. That was neat. Got a little bit of adrenaline going, but I wish it would have worked out, especially after last week. I told Dickie, sitting in the lounge going into the final right after the semis, I says, about right now, I'm kind of wishing we'd have qualified at Indy. Might have been a whole different outcome.
Right. You'd have gone 4 rounds, right? It's, I don't know. I think the test session after Indy probably had a lot to do with that victory, because of
it sure didn't hurt. That helped a lot. Just, they said, "Hey, we don't know the status yet, but we want to be prepared this time. We want to give you a little heads up this time if it does happen." He said, "I'd like to make a couple runs on Tuesday. You good with that?" I'm like, "Sure, no problem." To roll out there, he said, "Take it 800 feet. Just kind of, if everything goes good, take it 800 feet. Let's see how everything is." I took it down there and went at 395 at 305. And I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's better." And a little behind it early. It made a little move. It washed out, got it back over there. And I thought, okay, all right, I think I got this. Made one more, said, "Take it all the way." Went 390 at 333. And that was the fastest I'd ever been. I'm like, "Yeah, I think I'm good. Let's go." And then Wednesday got the call that Matt wasn't going to be able to make it. So I was like, "Phew, glad we made those 2 runs, and let's head to Reading."
Wow. Well, yeah, big part of it. Amazing stuff. Were you able to keep cool? Like, you're a cool character. You worked for Snake. You know what it's like to stay cool. But the excitement of, and first of all, Tripp's car is awesome. I'm super excited for Tripp to have a car, and I know he's been chasing that dream. I didn't know you guys were so close, and I'm excited that he's got that great opportunity now. Like, he invested, right? Like, blind investment. I'm going to build an awesome first class top fuel car and figure out the rest along the way. I think it's awesome. But just to be overtaken, it's not good to be overtaken by adrenaline, but I'm not doing anything. Oh my gosh, I get to drive again. Just like going through that, were you able to stay cool? Like, it was no big deal. Like, yeah, back to work.
Yeah, pretty much. When the phone call came at Indy, it was a wide range of emotions, because it was, the first was like excitement. Oh, wow, I'm back in. And then as I'm driving home to get my stuff, I'm thinking, man, I hope I can still do this. Then it was the little bit of nerves to hit, like, oh man, you're nothing like shoving you in Q1 at Indy in a car you've never sat in before at night. It's like, hope I can do this. It's a little bit of the nerves came in. And then once we fired it up and pulled into the staging lanes, I felt calm. I actually, when we pulled into staging lanes, I thought, oh, it seemed like I'd just been there, like it was just yesterday that we were in the staging lanes at Indy last year. And it became a weird sense of calmness, and then last weekend in Reading, it was just the testing helped ease any nerves I had about being able to do it, and I felt very confident pulling into Q1 at Reading. I was like, okay, let's go, let's do this. And once that first run was out of the way, it was business as usual. It was just normal. Everything fell right back into place, and such a good team. Can't say enough about those guys and how they were able to adapt and what they did. And it took a lot of work to fit me in this thing. We made a couple little adjustments, and they did all this stuff to make me comfortable, and they'd worked hard and working with a new driver, trying to get used to how I drive. And even the small things you don't think about is like backing up, the signals of how they direct you backing up, and the little things like that. And the hardest part is probably a warm up as a driver when you're jumping in and out of different cars. Most crew chiefs do the warm up differently. They always have a different routine. Some like to start with the clutch pedal out. Some will start with it in. As soon as it starts, you let it out. That was the biggest thing to ask Dickie. So give me your startup, give me your warm up routine. Got that knocked out on the track. Everybody drives the cars about the same way. It's pretty much a basic technique up there on the starting line, but in the pits, it's always different. So, once we got going, it just fell back into the norm. I felt comfortable. Everything was great. From after Q1 on, I felt like we just raced Reading. Didn't even seem like a 2-year break at Reading. It seemed like we was there, a week ago.
Wow, amazing. Let's look at the round by round, which I could tell you were going to win the whole time, Tommy. I got to say, you had the eye of the tiger, right? You did have an intensity about you. The car was running quick and fast, and you were feeling it and having fun. And there's something about what I call beginner's luck all over again, which is, you've been away a little bit, and then you come back and you forget the over analysis stuff that happens, and you just go back to the core programming. And you could tell you were just loving it and having fun and enjoying the moment and going fast. That's another thing. Like, your goal in life is to go fast, and you were going faster than you had ever been, over 333. You had a fast hot rod. So could tell you were enjoying it. You had to go up against Jim Campbell first round, and a blistering 89 at 333.58 started the day.
Yeah, it was just, like you said, you nailed it right on the head there. The human brain's a really funny thing. You can clog it with all this information, and no matter how hard you try, you can't get rid of some of those thoughts. You can't, you get in there and you start thinking about, well, I did this last week and I need to improve this. I need to do that. Mine had kind of been, I'd deleted all that stuff. It was all gone. I was starting fresh again. And I think that helps a lot sometimes. And I wish you could do that on a normal basis, week to week. You can just flush some of that bad stuff out and not think about it. But I had no bad, memories in my mind from the early in the season. No, we didn't do that right this run. And I just came in there with a fresh start and thought, let's do this, And Sunday morning, I told somebody, I said, I'm just here to have fun. I got no consequences. It's aren't my points, I mean, what are they going to do? Fire me if I screw up? No big deal. They fired me, And, so I went in there with no expectations, no worries, nothing. I was just having fun driving a race car, getting to do what I love to do. And I think that did help a little bit. I went up there and kind of just did what I've always done and do what you know how to do and don't try to overdo it. So it really helped. I went in there with a fresh mind, and first round I went up there, and it's, you have first round jitters. I had no first round jitters. I was almost like a carefree, careless attitude, and okay, stage this thing and let's go. And got that first round in. I thought, man, we got a good race car. Look out, boys.
Yeah. And setting up a second round battle against Caps, and Caps is fighting for a championship. He's got a different team, Guido and Medlin over there. Those guys very well, Caps very well. And your analysis of what you felt like he was going to do. There was a lot of discussion about, and has been a lot of discussion about rolling it in and going in deep, and just over the past year. And it's interesting because I consider you and Caps kind of like hybrid guys. Like, maybe you will go in deep if you think you need to, but you won't if you don't think you need to. And in this one, you both poked it in there because you both knew that the other guy might do it. It was like a final round. To me, like, you and Caps was like a final round, that race, championship implications all over the place. And you both crushed it. He's 47, you're 50, you run an 89, he runs a 92, comes up short. Like, that run right there told me a lot, especially you coming in, out of nowhere into the seat. That was a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw we had Cap's second round, we had to work for it all day. It wasn't really like we got I said we didn't get an easy, didn't fall into the wind. We were second qualifying going into the last session, and we got knocked to fourth, and that cost us a bye run. I thought, well, that's okay. We'll just earn this thing today. And racing Cap second round, I thought, well, it's going to be tough. Been teammates with Caps for a lot of years. All through the Skull days, and then again at DSR, and you get to know your competitors pretty well. You respect them, and you know what they're good at, and he's a killer driver. And I know his thought process, and we'd raced there in the final round, I think in 2016, and was able to just nip him in that one. So you just analyze your opponent, and I said I played like a high stakes chess game all day with everybody. I would analyze who I was racing, what I thought they might do, and what I had to do to counter that. And that's kind of how I played today. Is I'm going to race this guy. I got Cap second round. He's going for the championship. He knows how good the car is running. I'm going to guess he's going to do this, so I need to counter that by doing this. And so I thought I got to take two. I'm going to knock 200s probably off the ET here, but I'm going to take two. And I got back to the trailer, and I walked in. I told Dickie, I said, hey, by the way, I took two, but I got you three. So he says, you drive that race car how you drive it, and I'll tune it how I tune it, and we should be okay at the end of the day. So really, lane choice wasn't a big deal. On Sunday, the track was killer good. That's one of the best racetracks we've been on in a long, long time. And I don't think anybody was worried about lane choice. And you could obviously tell by guys sticking her in there on the tree on the starting line. So nobody was worried about lane choice. Everybody was going to go for it and get the most advantage they could. And you kind of had to know that and know who you're racing. And are they going to stick it in? I need to stick it in. So poked her in there against Caps, and man, he crushed it, 47. And I was actually surprised. I said, 50, not bad for an old guy that hadn't been in there in a while,
Yeah. Well, exactly. Like, you hadn't been in there in a while, and you have to go up against Caps. He's been fighting the fight, and you were right with him, and you won the round, and it was epic. Hey, you mentioned, Dickie Venables. You've been teammates with Dickie for a long time. He actually texted me about Dale Poldy being the only other sub driver to go out there and win a race. And it was great to just Dickie wants to get the story out, and he was so interested. But had you ever raced with him, or was this the first time you got to have him calling the shots?
No, it's my first experience with Dickie. I had to actually warm Matt's car up one time in Sonoma when I think he got stuck in traffic out there and couldn't get in. And I ran down trailer and warmed his car up for him. But other than that, I've known Dickie for a long, long time and spent a lot of time with him around the shop at DSR and just have a long history. His dad at the Houston and Dallas races always comes to the event with all their buddies, Tartar, all the partners in the top fuel car they had, and would go down and have dinner with all those guys. So kind of knew his dad and his family and all the friends, and just, never worked with him. And to watch him last weekend, great crew chief, and really felt comfortable with him. The communication between us was stellar right off the bat, and the whole team. You can tell why that team has won championship before. They're a class act team and really have their act together. And as a driver, it makes it really a lot more easy for you to go out there and jump in this car and do your job when the team is so good. So yeah, Dickie texted me and said, "Hey, Poldy said good job, congrats." So that was cool. Poldy jumping in for Bazemore years ago, and it's not too often that you get the opportunity to sub for somebody and then to go on and win a race.
No, this is drag racing history. This is an incredible moment that will be remembered for many, many years. I'm sure Brian is already cranking out the Nitro Time Machine from this one, because this is going to be one of those deals. But we're not there yet. Semifinals, JR, champion category, had just gotten a dose of adrenaline as he and Cruz had their moment on the top end. I don't know if you got to see any of that in person or what. I certainly did. I was on the front row. But JR's quick and fast and had a good car. And you were 50 again. So those are the lights. Now you're 50. You're locked in. And you both ran 90. You with a 2, him with a 5. On the other side of the ladder, Robert and John also ran 90s, but yours was low of the session. So one of the best semifinal rounds entertainment-wise you're going to get. Everybody ran the same ET, and you beat JR. Force beats Robert. You're going to the final round as a substitute driver, first time back against John Force.
Yeah, JR, he's been on fire lately. That job he did in Indy driving that car. I says, I was kidding him in the stage lanes at Indy. I said, first round when he pedaled it, and I says, well, I'm not going to give you any style points, but I'm going to tell you did a good job. That was great, you know. And then second round to be able to whack the throttle and get that thing staged without a clutch pedal. I mean, incredible job. I told him, I texted him, I said, you deserve a raise for that one, you know. So I knew how on his game he was. He's always done a good job, and he's really been on here lately, and so I knew it was going to be tough. That's a good car again, and semifinals, you're getting down to the guys that are running the best all weekend. It doesn't get any easier; it gets a little harder. And I did the same thing I did against Caps. You know, I thought, well, that worked pretty good. Let's do the same thing again and see how it comes out. And you know, car ran flawless. You know, the driver has to do their part, but the team has to do their part as well. And you know, on Sunday it was, I think we were both matched up perfectly. And when I was standing down there and I saw Force won, I thought, wouldn't it be cool if we could win this thing? And to beat John Force in the final would just put icing on the cake. I mean, the best there ever was in the class. I mean, if you're going to do this and make this big story about it, why not make it Force in the final, you know? So I thought, yeah, that's cool. Let's do this. And I was actually looking forward to the final. I thought, man, I'm excited. Let's go. This is great.
Right. How do you bottle that attitude, though, and just like ride that forever like that? Devil may care. Isn't this
You
cool?
take 10 months off. That's how you do it, Joe.
But we don't want that. We want to do it in
No,
another.
me neither.
Oh, my goodness. And so, all right, you and Force, final round. And it was epic. Like he staged with Brian Lone said it, and you know, he staged with the headers, right? Like he
I was
threw
going to say about the rear tires. I think where he stopped at. Yeah,
way deep. I'm sure you went in too. You're 43. He's 26. You run a 92. He runs a 94. I think the math was 3 thou at the stripe, and you got by him, and the wind light came on, and you're the winner over John Force, and complete the total Cinderella story. It's so unlikely. It's just so unlikely to happen. Odds going in that you can go out there and do that. Very high odds, and you did it.
Yeah, pulling up to the final, the guy driving the tow vehicle, he says, 250s in a row. He says, you think you can do another one? He says, I'd take that all day long. And I says, yeah, I think it might take more than that in the final. I said, Force, you know, he's going to poke her in there. I said, it's probably going to take better than a 50. And I said, I hope I still got another one in me. I think we're going to have a little more, you know? So, you know, I've raced Force for so many years, and he's wore me out over the years. You know, you get him every now and then, but you learn. I think it's the experience of doing this for so many years and knowing, all right, this is what he did and he beat me. This is what he did and he beat me. What do I got to do to beat him? And went up there, and I know he takes a little while to stage. Sometimes he doesn't hang you out. He just likes to be last, and he's going to wait you out. And he's going to take a little while. And I've tried to make him stage first, and that didn't work. That usually screws yourself up. You know, a lot of guys I see it do it, and then they end up screwing up because they change their whole routine. So I don't change my routine for him. I just modify it a little bit and slow it down because I know he's a little slower. So I took my time. We both pre-staged, and I took a breath, and then I took another deep breath. I thought, okay, here we go, boy. Let's do this. And I poked her in there pretty good on that one. I took two, probably knocked 200s off the ET, the against Caps and JR. I'm pretty sure I knocked about 400s off in the final because I knew that's what it was going to take. I knew he would roll it in. I didn't think he'd put the top bulb out. I didn't even see the top bulb go out. I actually said, I'm surprised he didn't put the top bulb out. And they said he did. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, that means I did my job because I wasn't paying attention to where he was staging. But yeah, I poked her in there, and it didn't go quite as far as I wanted. It went in and it parked, and I need just a tick more, and I gave it a bump, and then I watched for him to stage, and then we left, you know. And if not for probably taking that last little bump, 3,000ths, it probably would have been not enough, you know. I probably wouldn't have got him. So it was that extra bump that I just felt that wasn't enough. I need a tick more, and like I said, it was just a chess game, you know. I knew what I was trying to envision his move, what he was going to do, and what I needed to do to counter that. And I stuck her in there just a little bit more, and that was that 3,000ths more. You know, it's incredible that just come out that close at the end, and had no idea he was over there. And I threw the parachutes out and saw the wind light on the wall, and I just started laughing. I thought, I can't believe this just happened. You know, I was so relaxed all day and so, you know, chill. And you know, you get in there and sometimes you get so nervous and you get pumped up and you get aggressive. And I was as calm as can be on Sunday. And I've had that happen before, especially last year. Like we won St. Louis. I was as calm as can be. And then Houston, I was like, yeah, okay, we're good. You know, it's confidence in that car, confidence in the team, and it helps a tremendous amount. But yeah, I laughed all the way through the shutdown here, thinking I just can't believe that just happened. It's amazing that just happened. We just did this.
Yeah. Well, it is. It's amazing. It's probably the best story of the weekend, on a weekend where Greg Anderson ties Warren Johnson, and Steve Johnson's always a wild win, and just amazing stuff. Billy Torrance with a great final round. But I think there's another layer to it, and you said it, and we were aware of it, but until you win, your dad, man, I know your dad's up there smiling in heaven, ear to ear. Everybody's saying it. Glad to see you come in, get a Wally. It was like it was meant to be for your dad. Congratulations. And that's one of the first things you said. This listener wants to ask how your mom is doing. To be able to do that.
She's in the other room. I'm down my mom's, making sure she's good.
To be able to do that, like you're done racing, we all dread the passing of our parents, and you experienced it, and to be able to get a one-off opportunity to go out and win a race for your dad and then do it, it's a meant to be thing. You were very cool about it, Dad. That's for you. That's going to live forever.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have the career I have if it wasn't for my parents. My dad loved drag racing more than anybody I know. Loved the sport of drag racing, and I mean, he eat, sleep, and breathe drag racing, and taught me everything I know. Growing up as a kid, we went to the racetrack every weekend, and I didn't think you were supposed to do anything else but drive a race car, because that's what we did every weekend. And I remember I was graduating high school. We were in racing, and my dad says, "Well, you can go to college or you can drive a race car, but we can't do both. You can't do that." And I says, "Well, I'm going to be a race car driver." And he goes, "Okay, well, you got to make it work, And it takes a ton of work and a bunch of support and dedication and sacrifice, but it's worked out. And just to not have him around anymore. Indy, when I got that phone call, I instantly wanted to call him and tell him, because I always, something good happened. I always called and told him. So called Mom, told her, and it was cool. I almost felt like he was riding with me that day. It's just a really weird feeling, but really cool. Just glad to have the opportunity. I said 3 weeks ago, I had no idea, any thought that I would have a Wally from 2021. It's amazing how quick life can change, and it was emotional, but made me happy.
Well, right. It's a good emotional, like this, tying it together, winning one for your dad. And I don't know what everybody believes, but I think he's aware of your success. Like that's, energy, the way it is.
My dad always said, every time we won a race, he'd say, "Give me a hat, give me a winner's circle hat." So I'd always get him a hat. So we got him a hat this weekend.
Oh,
it's awesome. Sitting on the counter in there.
That is awesome stuff. That is awesome. And everybody wants you out there full time. But that whole beginner's luck all over again thing, right? Like going through the process. I want to show you something I think is kind of cool, and then get your reaction after the fact. Kind of like the whole, starting all over again kind of thing.
No, we're good.
Which one you
we're
want?
good.
Camping World or Mopar?
Okay, Camping World is fine. Okay, now I want y'all to, we're gonna do a cheer, okay? Just kind of group around him a little bit.
Rondo, are you ready? Act like you like
him. That is perfect. All right, on 3. 1, 2, 3. Woo!
I should have known better.
Woo!
Boy, that was a rookie move. I hope that cool draw. That feels pretty good, actually. I don't mind.
And there you go. Okay, I couldn't hear you during that. You're muted. Now you're unmuted. It mutes you. I don't know what, but they got you, Tommy. They got you. Oh, you're still muted. I can't hear you. I cannot hear you. You're muted. I don't know why. You're muted. You're still muted. I can't hear you. Oh, my gosh. Here, I'm going to kick you out. You come back in. We got to hear you. I'm going to kick you out. You come back in. Yeah. There he goes. And I do want to say that video was sent to us by a very cool young lady named Shannon Kane, who goes out. She's an architect, loves drag racing. She's in the pits. I'm sure many of you know her. She's got an Instagram where she posts all kinds of great stuff. I encourage the WFO Universe to follow her. I saw that video happen, and I reached out to her and I asked her if we could play it. And of course, like, that was an unbelievable moment. They dumped a cooler on Tommy, just like they do like a rookie driver. And Shannon captured the moment and let us have the video and sent it to me right before the show. And so follow Shannon.t.Kane on Instagram and see her stuff. But Shannon did a great job with that video. We got Tommy back. Tommy, are you back? Yes.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah.
You're back. So they got you.
Yeah, I said, what a rookie move. You know, I said, I've been a part of that happening on a lot of wins. You get new crew guys, you always do that. And I didn't see it coming. Totally got me off guard. I thought, man, what a rookie move. After going out there and doing that today and then pull such a rookie move in the winner's circle, I couldn't believe it. I was really embarrassed for myself.
You shouldn't have been, though. It was great. It was great.
And I welcomed it. I loved it. I welcomed it. They're like, you're not mad, are you? Go, no, that was the greatest thing ever, you know?
Well, they did something. There was a bunch of that, like perfect emotional stuff, like getting ready for the final round. I'm doing my thing, and I'm in my own little universe, just trying to do a good job on the top end down there. And I look up and I see Snap-on shirts, and I'm like, "What are you guys doing here?" And they're like, "We're here for our driver." And I was like, "Oh man, that is just so cool." And they were all down there waiting, and just in case you won, they wanted to mob you. And you made obviously a big impression with everybody, right? But with those guys especially, they came down and they mobbed you, and just really cool all around.
Yeah, it meant a ton to me. You know, I come wheeling around the corner there, and the first thing I see is Cruz's guys, which were my guys last year, and meant a ton to me. You know, to have them come on there, it was really cool. And I got a text later that said, "Hey, we apologize for doing it." I go, "Apologize? Don't apologize. That made it, man. I mean, that really meant a ton to me to have you guys down there and to come and see me and congratulate me and mob me. And my old guys mobbed me first, and then Hagan's guys come around the corner. They got down to the top end and they mobbed me. So, I mean, what better could it be for a driver to have two teams that you've worked for come and congratulate you? I mean, it was unbelievable. It really meant a lot to me, and just close ties. I mean, you spend so much time out here doing this as a living. You travel together and you eat together and you room together with all these guys, and you become family. I mean, you spend so much time with them. That's your extended family. And to have that friendship with those guys and to have their respect, you know, that, hey, I must have done a pretty good job, and they supported you. And then we're still very tight, you know, and to have those guys come and congratulate me down there on the top end was, that meant the world to me.
Yeah, that was a great moment. And they dived in and mobbed you up, and it was cool. All right, a couple of weird questions. Like, did you make a lot of candles in the 10 months you were off?
Yeah, made a few candles here and there. Yeah. So
made one for me.
Yes, I made one for Joe. That's right. Yeah.
I love my Tommy Johnson candle. It's great. Out of a bottle of whiskey, I sent him some bottles. He sent me back the candle. I love it. Special occasion candle, though, because, you know, sending it back and forth is going to be tough. But it's beautiful.
Made a lot of candles, and then I've always had a passion for woodworking. I did it in high school, and always I built little things here and there along the way, and just didn't have the time to do it a lot. And during the quarantine last year, I really got into it and started building a bunch of stuff. And one thing led to another. Somebody sees something you built, and they say, "Hey, can you build me this? And I need one of these. Can you do that?" Yeah. So now I'm doing a lot of woodworking, do a ton. You know, it's actually I got jobs booked up for a couple months now with people, custom cabinets and bookcases and furniture. And everybody says, "What do you build?" I said, "What do you want?" You know, it's I'll let you know if I can make it or not. But yeah, I built a ton of stuff and enjoy that, and still have my parts business that I supply all the race teams with consumable goods. You know, asked me, "What do you sell?" I said, "When they open the cabinet in the trailer and they're out of it, and they go, 'Man, we're out of that again.' That's what I sell." So
Nice.
Take care of all the teams and do that, and just keep myself busy and keep your phone on.
There it is. Keep the phone on. Exactly. And vibrate on silent and whatever it has to never miss a call. Derek wants to know who gets to keep the Wally.
Well, it's sitting on my counter at home. I transported that Wally home. I told Dickie before we went up for the final, I said, "Should we win this, I hate to tell you, but this Wally is mine. It's not. It's going with me. And they were kidding me. They said, "Yeah, Matt buys everybody on the team a Wally if we win." I says, "That's a great idea. He should do that because he has a job and I don't. So I think he should buy you all a Wally."
And he should buy, you a second Wally, because he's right in the middle of the championship hunt because of that day, just a couple of points away from Force. He's been cleared to drive. For those that are watching and didn't see the news earlier on WFO, he has been cleared to drive. So Tommy, you're going to be in Charlotte though, just in case you're going to be down there. I know you're doing a tribute to your dad at the track. That's going to be great. But let's talk about the future. This can't be your last win, Tommy. Like, we got to get you back behind the wheel. And I don't think your stock could be higher right now. Are you trying to do stuff? Like, are you, what do you do other than go out and win a race off the bench to let the world know that I know how to drive, guys? I'm a good driver. I can win you races. I can win you championships. I'm the guy. Like, what more can you do other than that to get back behind the wheel of a funny car somewhere, somehow?
Yeah, wish I knew. I don't know there's a recipe for that. You certainly have pitched a few things and trying to get some funding together for it, but it's a tough road to go right now. It's not my specialty. I've always said this, that a lot of times they want drivers to bring funding to the teams, but I'm a driver. And I'm a spokesperson. I know how to romance it and make that sponsorship work once we have it. But worked on a few things and still trying. I don't think there's anything better that I could do than what we did last weekend. So the opportunity and the that I was given, you just can't be thankful enough for have that, because that was probably the biggest thing you could do to actually remind people that, hey, this guy might be a pretty good guy to put in the car. So yeah, we'll hope and play that to the max, I guess, and see what happens. But yeah, you keep your ears open, and you never know. I mean, I've learned through the years. Kenny Bernstein taught me one time. He says, you treat everybody equal, and you see everybody out there and you sign those autographs, because you never know who that person is on the other side of the ropes. We don't know who came to a drag race and is just lurking in the background, that they might be looking to come out here and sponsor a car. He says, so you just never know who that is. And I've always followed that motto and sign those autographs, talk to everybody you can talk to, because for one, why would you treat anybody differently? And secondly, yeah, you're going to treat everybody great, because this is what we do, and you never know who that person is. And it was a valuable life lesson I learned, and so I do that and hope for the best. And if it's meant to be, it'll happen. So just like this weekend, it just worked out. It was meant to be. So I'll live by that motto, and hopefully something comes about this off season. We're back there full time. I was actually kidding Forrest top, and I said, hey, you haven't got any empty cars over there? I'm available.
Right. Well, I really think that we need it. We have we've had like 13 cars, 14 cars. We need more cars, man. Someone's going to have to, I hate to say it this way, but I can say it this way because I love spending other people's money. It's something I'm really good at, right? Someone's going to have to step up and invest and put another car out there or two. And we need some more drivers. The sport is really good. We're getting down to the semis. We're having unbelievable racing. It's popular. Camping World, we got Fox. We got 8 of 24 races on Fox Broadcast Network. The only thing we're down a little bit is a couple of cars, and it's a chicken or the egg scenario, right? Like, what are we going to do? We're going to wait for there to be more money and then bring out the more cars. And then, no, man, like, people are going to have to take a mini leap of faith, people who can, and put some cars out there, and they're going to need some hired drivers. Every driver can't be bringing money. Like, it just can't. There has to be some hired drivers to make it a sport. Like Kyle Larson, right? He's getting paid because he's good. It's not, he doesn't get to drive the number 5 because he's bringing some money. That's what makes it a sport, competition, as opposed to like a club, right? Like a club where, hey, I got some money to help us get out there and we're going to get on the track. No, it's a sport because good people get paid. You proved this weekend you're a really good driver, and some drivers should be being paid out there to make it a sport. So, I'm preaching here, baby. I want someone to, we had Billy Torrance on yesterday, and I said, hey, Billy, I didn't say it. One of the listeners said, hey, Billy, would you ever entertain a funny car? And Billy said, yeah, we would. Who knows? But maybe that's the genesis of something down the road. Who knows?
You never know. You never know what's going to happen. And I agree. I mean, It's a tough road right now for a hired driver, and like I said, I don't have any money to bring to the table. I'm not a wealthy person that can just buy my own team and go. And I've driven race cars for a long time, and was fortunate enough to make a career out of it. There's very few people that get to do that, and I'm very thankful that I've been able to live my life and do something I love to make a living. And it's unfortunate that our sport doesn't pay like some of the other automotive sports pays. If I was the F1 driver, I'd have a fuel team right now. Those guys make tremendous amount of money. So, but I'm okay with that, because I love what I do. As long as I can put food on the table and a roof over my head, I've had a great life to be able to drive a race car that I love doing all my career. And yeah, I'd like to continue. I'm not done yet. And it's the catch-22 nowadays. The marketing people want young people for the image, but yet young people probably aren't the best. They don't have the experience. They're not going to be the best out there. So the older guys have the experience. Well, there's nothing wrong with us marketing a little bit too, so there's definitely a market for everybody, and hopefully the right one comes along for myself.
Young people market to young people, and young people don't have any money to buy anything. And there's a lot of different angles we can look at it. But hey, good driver is good driver. And I just
the best marketing, Joe, is the winner's circle. Best marketing is putting a car in a winner's circle. That's the best marketing you can do. Young, old, no matter what. Everybody loves winners. And if you can put a car in a winner's circle and be the winner, that's the best marketing that can happen.
Absolutely. Simple as that. One final thought. I just kind of thought of this. You and Force in the final round, first battle ever of drivers that have won NHRA national events over 5 decades.
That means we're both old, evidently.
Yes, it does. But you got that first one when you were, underage. You were a teen, but you got a super gas win in the 80s, right? Was it 80s?
Alcohol funny car in 1988, Columbus, Ohio, Spring Nationals. Yep.
80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, 2020s. That's 5 decades. You've won an NHRA national event, and Force as well, 80s till now. I don't think it's ever happened before. I don't know if it has. I'm not keeping the stat, but it's a pretty crazy stat to think about it, that you guys squared off in the final round, and your lights were awesome, and it was a great race. It was fantastic.
Yeah, for guys that have won races for 5 decades to go out there and have a 26 and a 43 light, that's not bad. I guess we still got it, still going on, and it's cool. Anytime you can be mentioned as a stat in the same sentence as John Force, I don't know that it gets any better than that. So yeah, I'll take that. That's great. It's just, I've never won a championship, and okay, I'd like to have that. That'd be cool. But there's so many stats that I'm involved in throughout our sport, the history. I told you, that's just what I love. I love that because this has been my whole life. I've dedicated my whole life to the sport of drag racing. And if you can put your name in some record books, man, that's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about. Tommy, thank you very much. I appreciate you sharing the behind the scenes of your win. Is there anything we did not cover for the WFO audience, or anything you want to say to your fans out there to just cap this unbelievable happening?
Yeah, it's the welcome back. The fan response to the whole thing has been incredible. It's when you're sitting on the sidelines and watching these people race every Sunday, and you're not in a very good mood because it's aggravating to you, and to come back out and just have the support from the fans was unbelievable. Just, you can't believe what it does for your spirit and uplift you. And it's been a tough year. Lots of things happening, and not been a lot of fun this season. And to have this last 2 weeks just been incredible. Reading the comments that people post and just the support they gave you. The roar of the crowd on Friday night in Indy when they announced I was driving, I said, man, that's all it took. That's all I needed right there. And told my wife, I said, at least they didn't boo. So I must have done something right along the way.
Absolutely, you have many times on a professional level, personal level, and otherwise. Tommy, I'll see you this weekend. Thank you very much for coming on WFO Radio. Congratulations on what was just an unbelievable, unexpected accomplishment. Great job.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it.
There he goes, Tommy Johnson Jr. with us here on WFO Radio. Does it get more genuine than that, right? Does it get more genuine? And Andrea's out there. She's like, I'm at work. I can't watch all this stuff, but she's locked in on Tommy Johnson Jr. Great stuff. Marcus says, Madison says, hi, Tommy, if you're still watching. And Tommy should be driving full time. It should be a crime for him to not be out there. Well, it's we're coming out of this worldwide pandemic, the world economy, but tried and true methods. Drag racing has a hardcore fan base. The fans love it. They support it. They are part of it. They live it. It's a lifestyle. There's got to be a company or two out there that wants to connect with a driver that's going to get him some race wins. And, if not, I don't know what to say. I think that's the challenge of our lifetime right now with drag racing. We need some more cars. We need some more good cars. There's a lot of people that have cars and they bring cars out, and I love them. It's great. But we need a couple more good cars. And, if I had the money, I would be doing it. But we got to figure out another way. We got to figure out another way to get 20 to 22 funny cars and top fuelers out there for most of the races, so we can have our race within a race on Friday and Saturday for qualifying. And, I know everybody's working on it. Everybody's thinking about it. Maybe the days of, $3 and $4 million a year sponsorships are done, but we got savvy marketing people. They can put deals together, smaller deals, that kind of thing. But the connection you make with the person is so much stronger than just a logo or I watch commercials all the time. I actually like commercials to see the art of the commercial, right? But when you connect someone with an experience like this, like Tommy Johnson Jr. just earned the loyalty of a lot of people because he created this unbelievable emotional experience for so many people. They're going to think about that forever. They're going to be saying and lying about where they were. I was there. I was at that race. That one was one that people are going to remember. Drag racing fans, they are going to say that they were at. I have no doubt. Greg Anderson winning 97. Tommy Johnson Jr. beating John Force in the final round. The worst of the two lights was a 46. And I don't care about Force poking it in deep. Like that's, I think, a debate, the whole JR Cruz kind of thing. The debate about rolling in deep. Think of all the interesting dynamics that have come from that debate, whatever you think about it. You want to get rid of that, right? You want to get rid of it? I don't think so. And Tommy and Caps, like they do it when necessary. Some guys, Hagan says he never, ever does it. At the same time, it's also good that Matt Hagan is going to be back and healthy this weekend, driving his car. All right, guys. Put your comments in the comment section. I know we're done. We'll do a couple of minutes with your comments, your thoughts, like who's going to win Charlotte, your thoughts on the sport going into Charlotte. I will be there, of course. Giovanni in Miami and his fam are coming up to take in the race as well. Stubo, Sue Morris going to be out there. We're going to have a good time. They're going to be racing. Dave Morris, Sue Morris. We're going to have a good time out there at Charlotte, so I recommend you come on out. Don't forget the Total Seal Tech Talk. Friday in the pits, 1:00. If you're a Lucas Oil Series racer, sportsman racer, bracket racer going to the racetrack, you definitely want to come out for that. Greg Anderson said it earlier today. Greg was just fantastic earlier today and talked a little bit about Total Seal and how he found it to be so interesting. If you didn't see this one earlier today with Greg Anderson, we would love for you guys to share these shows and get the word out. It was pretty amazing to see the look on his face after tying Warren Johnson, one of the greatest of all time. Tamara on those photos, by the way. Thank you, Tamara, for sending in the photos. And I was going to use them on with Greg and got so into the conversation with Greg, I didn't bring up any of the photos. So now I've used them, and I feel like I didn't waste anybody's time. But put your comments in the comment section, and let's cycle through them. I want to tell you about the Patreon, the Listeners Club. This is VIP listeners. Some, kick in $5 a month. Some kick in $50 a month. They're so crazy, but it all depends on what they've got and how much they want to help WFO just to continue to exist. The VIP Listeners Club, right? And behind the scenes, and we're doing more and more with them. And maybe that's going to be the show in the future. Maybe someday it'll be all Patreons. Who knows? Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School and samtech.edu, Total Seal Piston Rings, Marvin Rodak. We're still selling face coverings. Can I tell you the truth? Nobody has bought face coverings in a long time. I think they just reject the whole concept. Even if they have one, it's just like everyone's still a little, myself included, annoyed. Like, oh man, we got to still do this, and it's coming back. Why is this coming back? But don't worry, folks. Like, honestly, we're going to get there eventually. We're going to get back to total normal like we used to remember it eventually. Numbers are going up, meaning people who got vaccinated are going up, or people who have had it and have natural immunity are going up. We're getting on the same page, I think. And I think eventually we're going to get back to it. It all depends on how you want to look at something, right? It's been a long time or not a long time. Well, it depends on how long the timeline is that you're looking at, right? You go back in the world pandemic history. How long did it take? And I don't know the answer to that. If you want some WFO radio stickers, I will send them to you. Address on your screen, Castello Media /WFO stickers, P.O. Box 848353, Pembroke Pines, Florida 33084. And then, of course, our WFO store. You go on there. We got shirts and hats and gear and all that stuff. But I got a new plan coming soon because I don't want to ship out anything. I have decided that shipping out stuff is for the birds. All right. Let's see what everybody's got to say, and then we'll get up on out of here. And then you guys will have plenty of WFO for the rest of the week. And the next time you'll hear from me will be Friday morning on NHRA.TV from Charlotte. It'll be good stuff. All right, Lonnie. Thank you, Lonnie. All the shows today were great. Yeah, but which was the greatest? Rank them, Lonnie. Steve Johnson, Tommy Johnson, Greg Anderson, all in one day. Man, if you like drag racing, the show's probably pretty cool. How about sharing it or retweeting it or telling somebody about it? That'd be great. Need polos on your website. Oh, my gosh. So many different things on the website. I have a WFO face mask. Joe gave it to me at the Winter Nationals. Haha, yes, and you needed it, and you're using it. Good to see you're using it. Thank you very much, Steve. Joe, I asked this of Greg, but y'all didn't get to it. Do you foresee the whole match race scene in 1967 returning, or is it too cost prohibitive? Lonnie, I would love to see Greg and Erica do 4 out of 7 somewhere for like 50 grand. I think it would be great. Like, I would love that. And I know they would love it too, but I don't see it coming back. You'd need some gutsy promoter with money. Like, where are all those people with money coming out of their ears that are willing to risk it and do something special just for the sake of doing it? Someone mentioned, I forget where it was, like the men who built America. The willingness to take a chance and lose money. The willingness to lose money to do something cool. I don't have money. I can't do it. And I love to tell you what I would be like if I won the lottery. Steve Johnson and I were having a conversation a little bit earlier before the show started. We were going to get to it, but then Steve went off the rails, as is expected, and we never got back to it. But he and I both agreed that if we won the Powerball, we would be doing exactly what we're doing. He goes, if I won the lottery tomorrow, I would be racing pro stock motorcycle. I would be doing, I might have some nicer stuff or different stuff or another bike, but I would be doing exactly what I'm doing. And I can tell you, I would too. Maybe after a month or two of like binging, like crazy binging in Vegas and going to different places around the world, and definitely spending a week on some rented yacht, doing all that, getting it out of my system. But then ultimately, I would be back right here. The history is loaded with stories and examples of like captains of industry, people with money coming out of their ears, doing cool stuff just because it was cool. We need some of those people right now. We need some of those people doing things, building a super track out of nowhere. Like, think of all those stories in the past, right? Like Ontario Motor Speedway, and it closed down. It was a fail. It was ahead of its time. But they did something. They made a move. They did something. Is it really impossible to do anything now? No, it's not. You got to risk it. You got to do it for the love of it, for the hell of it. Like Burt Reynolds said, right? We need that. We need some people to start some teams. We need some people to make some moves. You want to do something crazy? I'll give an example, like what Wes Buck does with the Door Slammer Nationals. No guarantee the dude's going to make money. That's not what it's about. He wanted to do something and he did it. That's what we need. So someone want to put together a Greg Anderson versus Erica Enders 4 of 7 or 3 of 5 match race somewhere. Man, I would love that. It would be awesome. I think people would go. I just don't see it returning. And maybe racers need to do it, like Gadosh and Alan Przenski. two guys that need, laps and time and opportunity to test. Like, they can't get together with a track owner somewhere in the Northeast and say, we want to do a 3 out of 5 match race. Let's get in on the gate somehow. Like, the creativity to do that stuff. I come up with a lot of ideas. A lot of them are bad, but there's all of a sudden there's a free test in front of people, and maybe you're making a little money doing a match race, pro stock match race. Would people come? I'm troubled by all these tracks. You see all these cool cars. There's so many cool, fast cars going down racetracks. There's nobody in the stands. Do people just not relate to cars? There's a bunch of reasons. And I have a lot of thoughts on the reasons, but no need to pollute our minds with those right now. People I think our sport is too inside. We're talking about too much about how we're making the horsepower instead of like, man, look how fast this car is. People can understand fast. They can understand power. I've never seen something so fast. Like the NBA player that came on the starting line. I've never seen something move that fast. That's his mental state. And we're talking about, boost and pressure and tire pressure and clutch discs and all. Got to dumb it down if you want to bring some new people in, because they're going to get eyes rolled into the back of their head, and 1% is going to get it. You need to appeal to a larger percentage of people. What do they like? Fast. What do they like? Personalities. The thing with JR and Cruz. What were those guys beefing about? What were they beefing about? What was that about? Whoa, wow. They were mad. Wow. Maybe I should watch. I don't know. I've got ideas. NHRA needs to pay enough so teams can break even so they show up. Yeah. Okay, Mark. But see, where's that money come from? I'm sure you believe, and maybe you're right, maybe I'm wrong, but you believe that the money is just there and they're just electing to not pay the money. I don't know. That's a books kind of thing. What are the numbers? Like, we don't know the numbers. We don't get to know the numbers. It's not our business to know the numbers. But the teams are part of it. He did mention IndyCar and Formula One. There's a lot of money. NASCAR, there's a lot of money in those sports. It's definitely a calculus. There's definitely an algorithm about money in, money out. I can tell you they're absolutely working hard to try to lower the cost of everything. But nobody wants them to make the cars less powerful. Safe travels, WFO Joe C on NHRA.tv. I'll be there. Fast Jack should be driving too. Absolutely. Fast Jack. And others, though. How about some younger drivers that are getting involved in the sport? Like Bobby Bodie should be out there full time. You can't have the same cast of characters. You got to have new cast members coming in at all times. New, fresh blood with a fresh outlook and a fresh opportunity. So as much as Jack should be out there, Jordan Vandergriff should be out there. Jordan Vandergriff should be out there. And Austin Prock should be out there. And what? There's not someone, because there is. Don't get me upset. There's somebody that can just foot the bill for Austin Prock to be a race car driver and sit back and be super happy and proud about putting together a race team. That person is out there and they exist and they've got the money. And through the 40s and 50s and 60s, through NASCAR history and IndyCar history and Formula One history, there's always been those guys. The wealthy team owner who makes it happen. And what? Because of the pandemic, people are afraid the world's going to stop. I don't want to spend any money. No, now's the time. Right before the world ends, that's when you're supposed to spend the money, guys. That's my thought. Maybe I'm wrong. And no matter what is said, someone can come up with a reason why it's wrong. Like this guy. Look at this guy. NASCAR sucks. Out of nowhere. NASCAR doesn't suck. NASCAR is its own thing. NASCAR has turned into $1 billion business. NASCAR is very entertaining, but they had to go through a whole replenishing of the talent pool. And now Kyle Larson, who doesn't like Kyle Larson? Kyle Larson going to be at the track Friday, by the way. Hopefully Tony Stewart will become a team owner at some point. Yeah, I hope so too. But that's not a panacea. But yes, Antron, we got good things going on. No one should be pessimistic. In fact, I think people should be more optimistic than they have been. And this is the downside to being optimistic all the time, because people don't accept when you are genuinely optimistic. I'm optimistic all the time, but I'm especially optimistic now. Antron Brown, his team, what he's doing, the new energy that's going to bring. I don't think we can fully understand it. What AB is going to be able to do when he has the responsibility. He's going to, and the fire, the desperation to reach out to new people, to new parts of the world. How on earth is Antron Brown not supported even more than he is? What he has done, what he does for our sport. It'll be interesting to see. Let's see. NASCAR doesn't suck. Rick Hendrick is sponsoring Greg Anderson. Yeah, right. Well, I don't think it's NASCAR that make Rick all the money. I think it's selling the cars. NASCAR doesn't care about the fans like NHRA. I don't agree that that's true, Mike. I don't. I actually really like NASCAR. I've worked with and around NASCAR. I think our fan experience is just better because the fans are with the racers and not separated by the track. But if we started getting 100,000 a day, some of our racers might wish that. Because getting through Maple Grove, through the pit area on a golf cart was insane, impossible. It was impossible. Fleet Tree, need to do the math for people, make the numbers more obvious, maybe show the whole time slip somehow. People don't consider math entertainment, make the winning move more understandable. Maybe. There's a lot of work going into that. A lot of people are working very hard. The TV show people, now I have an inside look. I've got inside insight to understand how hard they're working. So easy to say something. Here we go. Charlotte winners. This is what I like to. Matt Hagan is going to come out of the box and he's going to just win back to back for the Mopar car. Wow. That would be pretty great. Like Willis Reed coming back. It's a basketball reference, guys. Torrance going to come back and win. Very interested in the Torrance deal. And Alexis win would be really great. That would be a good win to get Alexis winning on a consistent basis. Look at what Cruz running well has done to change the dynamic. Cruz Pedregon running well, not even winning, just running well, has fundamentally changed the dynamic. Because you got Cruz and you got Robert and you got JR and you got John and you got Caps and you got all these different potential people. Imagine if Alexis bust off a win or two. Oh, no, now you got Alexis. Steve Johnson gets my vote for today. A bit JF-ish, John Force-ish, but unpredictable. I agree. Steve was good. Was he the best? Nah, I don't know. It's impossible. It's impossible to say. All right, guys, music's playing. That's it. I'm out. Hopefully you've enjoyed WFO Radio. WFO Radio TV on YouTube. Subscribe, click the bell. Imagine where NHRA would be if Camping World didn't step in and Coca-Cola left. Well, exactly. But what if Coca-Cola didn't leave? What if Coca-Cola stayed? And we got Camping World also. That's the other side of it. Or, Coca-Cola. Maybe they could come back. Or another beverage. Or a beer. Remember, everyone, when you watch NHRA.tv, have a sip when you see me. It's a fun little game our listeners play behind the scenes. Just a little sip, because I get on there a lot. All right, if you're going to be in Charlotte, be sure to say hi. Shout out WFO. I'm super excited. The little nephew's coming to the race for the very first time. Hopefully he likes it. Maybe it'll be too loud. Big thanks to all of our guests. What a day. These guys. Had Billy on yesterday. GA and Steve today. If you haven't seen the Steve Johnson interview, get on it. If you didn't see Greg Anderson, wow. And Tommy Johnson, if you're seeing this, you just saw it, so you're good on that. And that's all I got. Remember, you can get WFO stickers and gear and shirts and all that stuff in the WFO store. And big thanks to Steve Brenwald for making our art. And Shannon Kane for that video. Way to go, Shannon. Appreciate you. Follow her, Shannon T. Kane. Shannon.t.kane on Insta for supplying that great video. All right, everybody, that's it. I'm off to Charlotte. We'll see you there. Friday morning, bright and early. WFO. Share the show. Do it.